Hey, Facebook, YouTube, Periscope. Great day, great day. It's your girl, Dr. V. Great morning. I know it's early. I know y'all, but listen, y'all know I've been up for some hours already. I wanted to come on. I really wanted to start at 4:44. That didn't happen. Okay. I don't know what that was, but okay. I want you guys to let me know who's here. Put your name and where you're from in the comments. Put your name and where you're from in the comments. Let me know who's here this morning. There's some things that I'm going to share with you guys, and I believe it's going to bless you. Um, I'm excited about what God is doing. Happy New Year. Make sure you put your name so I know who it is. Okay. Um, Kim. Okay, it's Kim. I know that was Kim. Okay. So listen, you guys, I'm going to try not to be too emotional, right? But there's some things that I want to share with you guys that I think will help you get perspective. Yes, Kim in Delaware. That I think will help you to get perspective on some things in your life. And I say this because sometimes our perception of things is tainted by how other people see it. Okay. It may not make sense to other people. It may not be logical to other people, all of those things, right? But there's some things that really God just made click for me. And I'm going to share them with you because hopefully it'll make some things click for you as well. So I was thinking about 2020 and um, what 2020 was. It was about 2020 vision. It was about really getting clear. And that absolutely happened. It didn't happen the way we thought it was going to happen, but it happened. And I thought about something that God said to me concerning a situation that I brought to Him in 2020, and just was seeking His face on it. And He said, "Watch and assess. Watch and assess." And I thought about it. Like if you really think about 2020, that's what we did. We had to watch what was going on and assess what that meant. Assess what was real, assess what was off, assess. We had to watch and assess. But we also had to evaluate whether or not this makes sense. Does this make sense? Is it working? Is this what I want? And I'm not even talking about just relationships, but I'm talking about period in our life, in our relationships. You just have to watch and assess and evaluate. When you watch, assess, and evaluate, then you can do the fourth thing, which is adjust. Adjust. Matter of fact, let me just put this in here so y'all can see it. Watch, assess, evaluate, adjust. Now, y'all may be saying, Dr. V, why is that important? Why is it important for us to watch? Well, it's important for you to watch so that you can be aware of what's going on around you. 2020 was all about getting our vision clear, being able to really see what God needed us to see what was going on, to be able to have a clear view of what was happening. And I'm going to say this because I think it's very important because I think sometimes what can happen is when situations and things change in our life, there's a demonization that takes place. So suddenly, um, we can have a tendency to demonize people when the people are the same people that they were, but our view began to change. The people are the same people that they were. They're the same person, but our view of the people changed because we began to see some things um, that we couldn't see before. We saw things that were hidden. We saw things that just showed up and, like it might came just a glimpse of it, right? And so then there's a tendency to demonize. It's not that the person is a bad and horrible person. It's that um, we began to see flaws. We began to see um, the hidden things. We began to see um, what everybody didn't see, or maybe what some other people had seen, but we didn't see it yet, right? You begin to see stuff, but it doesn't mean that the person is a horrible person. It simply means that there are some things that are in them, like there's some things that are in us that have come to the surface and they have been revealed. Now, as long as we're looking at people through these rose-colored glasses that seems to make them perfect, we're good, right? Because we can deal with people's perfection. What we can't handle is their imperfection. The reality is every single one of us have imperfections with an S. It's not one imperfection, it's imperfections. And those imperfections are a part of our humanity. But we don't want to be human. We want to destroy our humanity, and we want to be superhuman without flaw, right? Without um, um, without character disruptions. Like we want to be perfect, but that's not what's happening. So let me tell you this, because I need you to understand this. The season and the time for you to expect people to be perfect is over. That's done. Listen, let me tell you something. God does not need um, more perfect people. He needs more imperfect people willing to share their imperfections, show their imperfections, allow their imperfections to be revealed. And it's in that revelation that God is able to do what he does best, and that is show others with imperfections that they too can be used by him, that they too have value, that they too. And so when we do that, hold on, let me start this watch party. When we do that, then what happens is God has the ability to then minister in those deep hidden places, those broken places. Because let me say this with you. Let me share this with you. So one of the things that I've been talking about a lot to people is the covenant. When you're in a covenant relationship, that's the place where you're able to experience the most growth. Why? Because it's the place where you are able to reveal more of you. The parts of you that your representative doesn't show someone when you're trying to get into relationship with them. It's the stuff that comes from really being in relationship with someone, being in relationship with them enough to know them and know their flaws and know they're not perfect and know that they be doing some jacked up stuff, but you still love them. Right now, I want you to understand that you need that space, because if you don't have that space, that jacked up stuff in your life never gets dealt with. No one ever says anything about it. It's never really revealed, and it can't be changed. God's desire is to change us from the inside out. We all want change. We want transformation. We want to look better. We want to speak better. We want to dress better. We want to show up better. But listen, can you get some internal transformation? It is that internal transformation that is what draws people to us. When you change from the inside and people can feel the love of God radiating from the inside of you to the outside. See, true love, true love, true love. Let me talk about true love for just 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute. Give me 60 seconds to talk about true love. True love is the ability to see the broken places in someone and love them in spite of it. True love is the a willingness to go through those rocky patches with someone and love them anyway. True love is it's being able to see the purpose of God on people's lives, and even if it doesn't include you, it is pushing them into that. That's true love. See, this fake love that people often operate in is a love that is self-serving. It's self-serving. It's good as long as it benefits me. But when it no longer benefits me, I don't love you no more. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a love that will allow you to see the imperfections in someone and love them anyway. Listen, that's what God does with me. I'm not talking about you. You may be perfect, and I get it with your perfect self. You go ahead, perfect, honey. Listen, I'm cheering you on because I know that's not me. I'm the imperfect one. I'm the one that messes up. I'm the one that gets it wrong. I'm the one that when I would do right, evil is present on every hand. Like that's me right there. I'm the one that's not trying to pretend like I'm perfect. I'm not even going to front like I'm perfect. I'm not going to fake like I'm perfect. I know I'm not perfect. And it is in my imperfection that I have had the greatest opportunity to minister to others who find themselves in the same place that I'm in. When God began to talk to me about pastoring again, I said, God, listen, mm-mm, I don't want it. I don't want it. Well, why don't you want it? I don't want it because people think pastors are perfect. People think pastors are perfect. When the truth of the matter is, pastors are just people with a calling and a mandate on their life, trying to walk it out just like the parishioners, just like the parishioners, just like the people that sit in the pews or in the chairs or are watching via live stream. Like pastors are just people who are anointed with a purpose and a calling, who are walking it out to the best of their ability, which means that their imperfections will show up. Their flaws will show up. Their issues are going to show up. A pastor with abandonment issues are going to have problems when people leave. A pastor who has issues, has like daddy issues, are going to have conflicts with men, and that's whether they're female or male. A pastor who has issues because they don't feel like they're enough will always try to prove themselves. So they'll be constantly trying to prove themselves to people. Just people. And when we begin to understand that people are people, and it doesn't matter what title, what role, what position they play, they're just people, then maybe then we'll be able to have realistic relationships with leaders. Maybe then we'll be able to have realistic relationships with leaders. Now, this is what I know. The gifts of God come without repentance. Hey, Whitfield, the gifts of God come without repentance. The gifts are the gifts. They just are there. They show up. And we want all of this perfection. And I just want to help someone as we're going into 2021, right? I just want to help y'all have some realistic expectations for leadership. I want to help you have some realistic expectations for leadership. Okay? Because what happens is you get frustrated because you realize pastors aren't perfect, but the pastor wasn't perfect when you got there. Nobody in that ministry is perfect, not even you. So having realistic expectations is going to help you, because this is what's going to happen in 21. I told you guys the other day that this is going to happen. There is going to be another wave of exposure of pastors. Another wave of exposure. It's another wave of exposure that's happening for pastors. And in this wave, a lot of people, a lot of Christians will get lost in the sauce if you don't understand what's happening. So this is why you got to get a realistic perspective on leadership. Okay? Just realistic. Let's just be real now. Let's just be real. These are people like your people. They got issues like you got issues. They got imperfections like you got imperfections. They don't get it right like you're going to get it right. It is what it is. Now, this is where the next part of the equation comes. So I said, you want to watch, assess, and evaluate. Watch, assess, and evaluate, but then you must adjust. So you know someone's not perfect. You're able to see their character flaws. You're able to see those things that are issues with them. And then you got to decide, after you've evaluated everything, after you watched, assessed, and you've evaluated, how you need to adjust. You may need to adjust how you deal with them. You may need to adjust how you view them. You may need to adjust how you interact with them. And you may need to adjust your relationship with them. It may be that you need to love them from afar because they've done what they can do for you. And now it's time for you to make another move, a different move. It doesn't mean something's wrong with them. It doesn't mean that they're not good at what they do. It doesn't mean that they're a horrible person. It doesn't mean any of that. It simply means that you have watched, assessed, and evaluated, and now you need to make an adjustment. Now, the adjustment is for you. The adjustment is for you. The problem is we don't want to adjust because we don't want it to feel like it's something wrong with them. So we don't want to adjust. We don't want to hurt their feelings. We don't want to do that. So we won't adjust. We won't adjust. But can I help somebody this morning? Your failure to adjust does not help them, it hurts them. Because when it's time for you to adjust, God will begin to put pins in places where there used to be comfort. Let me say that again. God will begin to put pins in places where there used to be comfort. Listen, y'all, hold on. Listen, wait a minute. I started to watch party and I started to watch party with the wrong thing, y'all. Listen, see, listen, let me tell you something. Let me tell y'all. Listen, the enemy don't want this word to go forth like it's going forth. He don't want it. He don't want it. He don't want it. He don't want it. But it's got to go forth because we got to get some realistic expectations. We've got to get some realistic expectations. And those realistic expectations are going to really help us get to the next dimension in God. See, and we've been leveling up and leveling up and leveling up. We've leveled up and leveled up and leveled up. We've leveled up and leveled up and leveled up. And that's good. It's good to level up. But God says it's time to make dimensional shifts. See, when God takes you to dimensional shifts, there's some things that has to happen, some things that must take place. See, listen, it's like the difference between flying in a plane and being on a rocket. I feel this word. I feel this word. Oh my God. I feel this word. Oh my God, y'all. Oh my God. Listen, it's like the difference between being on a plane, an airplane, a jet, okay, and being on a rocket ship. When you're on a plane, my God, when you're on a plane, there is the takeoff, and the takeoff can be a little rough, a little rocky, but you got to get up enough acceleration so that you can lift off of the tarmac, off of the runway, right? And so you're going and you're getting your speed up, you're getting your speed up, you're getting your speed up, and then you're gonna lift the nose of the plane so that you can take off, right? And you'll rise in altitude, and you'll keep going up and up and up and up and up. But there comes a point where you can't go up any higher. The atmosphere is not the atmosphere where that plane can fly accurately. If you elevate in the altitude too high, then the plane is going to begin to pull apart. Do you hear what I'm telling you? So some of you are trying to make dimensional shifts in airplanes and not rockets. Some of you are trying to make dimensional shifts in airplanes and not rockets. The airplane was good for the season that you were in. It was good to get you from point A to point B in that atmosphere. It was good for that. But now it is time, because you've got to go higher and you're going into a different atmosphere. It's a different atmosphere. And in this atmosphere, the plane is not built to sustain it, to stay there, right? So you got to get in a rocket for where you're going next. The plane ain't going to get you there. It ain't going to get you there. Get out the plane. I know you hear Tattoo saying, the plane, boss, the plane. But the plane ain't going to get you there. Now you got to get in the rocket. You got to get in the rocket. Now listen. What y'all did, this finna make me run around the room. This is finna make me run around the room. Y'all may not get this, but I promise you, God is speaking to me. So listen, what worked in the plane won't work in the rocket. What works in the plane won't work. So listen, when you get ready to go get on the plane, you put your little cute outfit on. Hey, I'm getting on the plane, right? You know, you want to look cute and everything. You might put a sweatsuit on, but whatever you put on, like you just got regular clothes on. You got regular shoes on. It's regular, right? It's regular. It's just regular stuff. But when you get on the rocket, you got to wear some different stuff. You got to wear some different stuff. You got to wear some different stuff. You literally have to put on a suit specifically designed for being in outer space. You got to put on shoes that can keep you grounded and on the ground, because there is no There is no gravity. There's nothing to hold you down. And so you just automatically float. Y'all better catch that right there in the spirit. Catch that right there in the spirit. Listen. When you're in the rocket ship, when you're in the spaceship, you got to put on the space gear. You got to put on space. You can't wear your regular clothes on the spaceship. It's not going to work. Your regular clothes don't work on the spaceship. It just doesn't. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. And let me tell you why it doesn't work. They were not designed for outer space travel. They were not designed for outer space travel. They weren't. They were designed for particular arenas. They were designed for particular places. They were designed. So some of y'all got the wrong clothes on. You got on the wrong clothes. You got on the clothes that worked, when you were getting ready to get on the airplane. Come on, Whitfield. The plane can hold lots of people. Anyone, check this out, anyone who can purchase a ticket can get on a plane. Anybody. As long as you can purchase a ticket and you got an ID, you can get on a plane. But a rocket requires some different things. I'm finna break this thing down. Y'all finna make me preach for real. Right, Whitfield. Right. So look, check this out. A rocket requires different things. Well, Dr. V, what does entrance on the rocket require? It requires testing. You got to go through a series of extreme tests before you can be approved to ride the rocket. You can't get on the spaceship and you haven't passed the test. You can't. Requires extreme testing. But wait. You got to pass the test, but not only do you have to pass the test, not only do you have to be able to do that, you got to be certified. You cannot get on it and you are not certified. You can't get on, okay? Unless you're certified. Got to be tested. You got to endure the testing. The testing says that and check this out. The testing consists of multiple. I'm having a whole fit over here. The testing consists of different aspects of your being. What do they test? Well, listen. You have to go through physical, mental, and psychological testing. Man, let me get this together. Listen, you got to have physical, mental, and psychological. Physical, mental, and psychological. Okay, so let me do this. Let me do it like this. Let me do it like this. Let me do it like this. Hold on. Let me do it like this. Let me physical. The mental is psychological. Hold on. Mental / psychological. It's one more though. Let me get it on here because I don't want y'all to miss it. Physical, mental / psychological, and emotional test. Do y'all hear what I'm telling y'all? Do y'all hear what I'm telling y'all? Listen. Your body has got to be proven to be able to withstand the conditions in outer space. Your body has got to be proven to be able to withstand the conditions, the physical conditions within outer space. There's some things and some conditions that you may have that may not allow you to qualify to ride the spaceship, but will allow you to ride a plane. It may not qualify you to ride the spaceship. It may disqualify you for the spaceship, but it qualifies you for the plane. See, some people have been disqualified from the spaceship, but they're qualified from the plane. And you trying to figure out why they can't go where you're going. They can't go because physically it would kill them to be on the spaceship, because their bodies will not be able to withstand the physical conditions, the environmental conditions of the spaceship. The spaceship is going to take them into some atmospheres. It's going to cause some traumas that they may not be able to withstand. The same is true with people in your life. There are people in your life who are qualified while you're on the plane, but when you transition ships, then they cannot go where you're going. It will literally physically kill them to go there. You will be committing murder by taking them with you on the spaceship. That's why I can't be mad. I can't be mad when God begins to disconnect. I can't be mad when God says to go. I can't be mad when God says to sever. I can't be mad when God says to cut, because he could very well be saving someone's very life. But I feel some type of way. I take it personally. I'm trying to figure out, God, why they can't go with me. God, this isn't fair. Why does this have to happen? But God is trying to save their life and still get you to your destiny. My God, today. Whoo, Jesus, God. Listen, he's trying to save their life and get you to your destiny simultaneously. And both things cannot happen if you occupy the same space. The physical. The physical. Now that's the physical testing. That's the physical testing that you got to go through in order to qualify you. That's the physical testing. But hold up, wait. It's not done. Your tests are not over. See, before I even move on, but let me say this, because I need people to understand this. Listen, anyone who is trying to grow in Christ, grow in your spiritual relationship, grow in whatever, unless you first deal with your physical, you will never be able to fully obtain all that God has for you. If you don't deal with your physical, you will never, I want y'all to hear me, I'm saying it with Holy Ghost boldness, be able to obtain all that God has for you, because you have to have the physical stamina, makeup, endurance, all of that, the strength for where he's taking you. And if you don't deal with your physical, you can't fully deal with the other things. So what does that mean? Get your body right. Get your body right. See, right here, if I had someone playing music for me, I would tell them to put on Meg Thee Stallion's body yada 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 yada. That's what I would tell them to put on. Put on body. Body yada 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 yada. Put on body. See, because let me tell you something. See, y'all can get it when you're like, oh yeah, she got a bad body. You need to have a bad body. What is oh my God, I done seen about 12 million sermons just in this darn live. I gotta stop. This is going too deep. It's going too deep. Listen. We'll be concerned about the physical structure of a woman's body, but not concerned about her body, yada, 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 yada. See that physical structure, how it looks, the curves, all that's cute, but that don't have nothing to do with what's going on inside her body, yada, 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 yada. Don't just get your shape right. Don't just get some muscles. Don't just get that stuff. Like get your body together. Get your physical being together. Get your health together. Make sure you're getting the appropriate nutrients. Make sure that you're drinking enough water. I know I'm guilty. Hold on right there. Why are we talking about it? Get your water intake up. Do that. Get your water intake up. You got to be concerned about more than just how your body looks on the outside, but what's going on inside of your body. Get your physical together. It's a new year. Everybody got resolutions. What I'm going to tell you is that you don't need to just resolve, you need to do. So get your body together. That's the physical. That's the physical. Then the mental slash psychological. See, people don't understand that mentally, everyone can't handle everything. Everyone can't handle everything. In my fourth marriage, I remember asking God, why you do this? Because you said, God, you said that was my husband because he cares for my heart. But it don't feel like he's caring for my heart. He is emotionally, psychologically, and spiritually abusive. He's tearing me down and it's affecting my physical health. So God, how is it that he cares for my heart and that is my husband, right? See, what I didn't understand fully at the time was that God was also using me as a sacrificial lamb, because there was someone who mentally and psychologically wouldn't have been able to endure the emotional, spiritual, and psychological abuse that I endured in that marriage. It would have destroyed them, but I was strong enough to endure it and come out and not just get through it, but be better when I came out on the other side. Now, y'all may say, how were you better when you come out on the other side? I had a new understanding of abusive relationships. I had a new understanding of why women or people, period, in domestic violence situations find themselves in those situations and stay. You understand? I couldn't understand the end state. I could understand it happening, but I couldn't understand the end state. See, the end state used to blow my mind. It would trip me out. See, I would look at situations and people would be talking about what's going on. I'm like, leave. Just leave. I'm not understanding why you don't just leave, right? Just leave. But in that marriage, I understood. I came to understand with a deeper revelation because I was in it and stayed. Because I stayed. Even at the first signs of it, even when it began to get worse, I stayed. See, it gave me a whole different understanding. But see, mentally and psychologically, there was a certain level of strength that I had to have. It almost took me out. I won't lie. It almost, with all of my strength, with all of my independence, with all of my education, with all of my everything, it almost took me out. It almost took me out. And if it almost took me out with all of my resilience, the average woman would have been wiped out, scarred for life behind it. So I began to understand that being a living sacrifice means sometimes God got to put you in a place. I said God has to put you in a place so that someone else won't be in that place because you can handle it. Living sacrifice. So mentally and psychologically, you have to have a certain level of mental toughness, fortitude, and resilience to go from the plane to the spaceship. The spaceship, why? Because when you're going into outer space, you don't have all of the things that you have here, right? You're in solitude. It's a lot of solitude. You know, you're in solitude. Y'all know y'all be going crazy when it's just you. It's a lot of solitude. You got to be able to endure the solitude. You got to be able to endure the disconnection. You got to be able to endure not having some things that you've become accustomed to having in your life. You got to be able to handle that psychologically. You got to know that when the atmosphere shifts, there's something happens in your mind when the atmosphere shifts and the air begins to thin out. You don't think the same. Your mind doesn't fire the same. And so you've got to be able to do that and handle that psychologically, mentally in your elevation. You got to pass the mental and psychological test, because if you borderline depressed and you get on the spaceship, baby, you'll find yourself all depressed because mentally, psychologically, you weren't equipped for that. It was too much for you. So there's the physical. There's the mental, psychological part of the testing. But there's also the emotional part. Listen, let's talk about the emotional part, the emotional testing. they've got to know that emotionally you can handle the gambit of emotions that you're going to experience on the ship. See, when you're on a plane, you go through some emotions, right? You may feel a little anxious, when it's getting ready to take off, or when you hit a bump, you may be like, whew, right? You know, there may be a little fear if you hit a lot of turbulence, right? But then when the plane, they say, um, this is your captain. We are um, flying into our destination. We'll be landing in 3 minutes. I just want you to know, you be like, feel that relief. When you are in a spacecraft, a spaceship, and you're in outer space, it's not like being on a plane. You can't just get on the runway like you in outer space. You got to go through the period where the ship is going up and it's elevating very fast. And so it's taking off and you're just held back, right? Because you're still in this atmosphere. There's gravity here. Remember that. It's holding you back. You're like it's shaking and everything. And as you go up, as you ascend, as you elevate, there comes a point where a part of the ship has to be shaken off, torn off, destroyed, right? And so it's shaking. It's shaking, it's shaking, it's shaking, it's shaking, it's shaking. And as you elevate, as you ascend, it's shaking, 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 so that it can tear off those things that you do not need on there. So what it does is it takes those things off. Those things go off. Those things go off. They fall off. That part of the ship falls off. It falls off and it falls to the ground, right? But you're still elevating, right? And then you just begin to float, because no longer do you need the combustion of that part of the ship. It has gotten you to the atmosphere that you need to be in, and now you can kind of glide. It's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. Whitfield said, an officer and a gentleman nailed this home emotionally. It's the glue that holds it together. Wow. Wow. Y'all listen. The test you got to go through. Test you got to go through to get on the spaceship. You got to be qualified. You got to be qualified. Got to be qualified. You have to qualify to board the ship. Got to qualify in a way that you don't have to qualify to get on a plane. They're two different rides. And some of you have been good because you've been hopping planes. You've been hopping planes, go here. Hop a plane, go there. Hop a plane, go here. Hop a plane, go there. But this is what God said. In 2021, will you dare to qualify to board the spaceship? Will you dare to qualify to go into outer space? The area where most people don't go. The area where most people, look at it and be like, oh my God, it's beautiful there. But they'll never take the test. They'll never even dare to dream of hopping on a spaceship. They see it for other people, but they don't see it for themselves. Are you content? You good because you got TSA pre-qualified and a passport? Or are you ready to be tested and qualified to board the spaceship, the spacecraft, and not just the aircraft? You just want to be in the air, or you want to be in space? See, that's what separates. So when I look at 2021, what that redemption looks like, it's time to board the spacecraft. It's time to get on the spaceship. It's time to go through whatever additional tests that are required for my qualification to board for outer space. That's just me, though. Everybody doesn't want to go to outer space. I'm real clear about that. But I know what God has promised me. And if you know what God has promised you and the planes are not getting you there, then you need to do something that's different. Something that's going to take you to that next dimension and not that next level. Take you to that next planet and not the next city. Been to a lot of cities. I'm ready to go into a different atmosphere. But what that means, y'all, is we gotta qualify. We gotta qualify. And that qualification process is the purification process that God takes us through. He begins to purify our minds, our bodies, our very being. He purifies us. And that's what Forward Focus 21, the 21-day fast, is going to do. It's a purification process. It's allowing God to purify us. It's allowing God to prepare us for what he's doing and what he's going to do in 21. And so often we do fast, but we do them without really understanding the magnitude and the gravity of what they're doing and what they're designed to do in our life. When you get to the point where you're fasting just to fast, it's just something to do. You've missed what it is that God says. Jesus talks about this. Listen, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine yesterday, and we were talking about the fact that the disciples were trying to figure out why they couldn't cast the demon out. And Jesus said, these only come out by prayer and fasting, right? And I know they probably were thinking, well, but we fast, right? Because it was a part of their ritual. But he wasn't talking about ritualistic fasting. He was talking about fasting with purpose, right? It's a different level of fasting. See, lots of people just fast, and they don't even have to be spiritual beings, right? Spiritual people, right? It's not even a religious thing for them, but they fast. They fast a day a week, or they fast 2 days a week for health purposes. But the fast does not have the same assignment as the fast that like we're getting ready to do. Listen, we're going on purification fast. God, purify me, sanctify me. Purification, it is a process. In fact, check this out. I'm going to show y'all how serious it is. In the Church of Scientology, they have a purification program. And in the purification program, this purification program gets rid of all the chemicals, any traces of any drugs that you've ever taken in your life, and not just recreational drugs, but prescription drugs. Like, it's a whole purification process that they take you through to purify your body, to remove things from your body. It's a part of being able to get clear. Clear is what they consider the highest level of thinking. Now, y'all may say, Dr. B, why are you talking about the Church of Scientology? Because, see, our problem is that we don't understand what we are around. We don't understand what we're around. We scared of everything. I'm not scared of anything. There's no religion I'm scared of. There's no person I'm scared of. There's no place that I'm scared of. I'm not scared. I need to know, because if I don't know, how can I understand? I can't. They have a purification process. That purification process is designed, it's deeper than just a detox, right? It's a deeper level, right? And so, but what I know is I don't have to go through your purification process, because God has a purification process designed specifically for me. And what I'm telling you is that God has a purification process designed specifically for you. Now, in this purification process, there will be a detoxing that takes place. Now, this is what I'm going to tell you guys. One of the things that I'm doing as we're preparing for this fast is offering people the opportunity to get your fast kit, right? This kit is going to make sure that you have the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients that you need in your body, because you need them, because you're not going to be eating what you normally eat. And so you've got to make sure that you're getting the vitamins and minerals that you need. It's going to have something that's going to also give you the energy, the clarity, and focus that you need, right? So this kit is going to help your body stay intact and not go into shock and trauma, right, during the fast. Now, I'm not going to tell you what to fast, but I'm going to tell you to seek God for your fast, for your purification process. Too often we have a singular approach to everyone's situation. And then what people do is they begin to just take someone else's approach and they apply it to their life. And I'm not saying that it cannot work and that it does not work. But what I'm telling you is that for 21, God wants to give you a personalized program. God wants to give you a personalized program, one with your name on it. Why? He knows you. He knows the very core of your being. He knows everything about you. He knows what you specifically need in order for you to be able to board that spacecraft and survive the journey. Now, you may try to do what someone else does, you know. David did that when he was getting ready to go out and fight Goliath. They were trying to put him in an armor, right? And so he put on King Saul's armor, and he discovered that while Saul's armor was an amazing armor, it was the armor that protected Saul. Like it fit him perfectly. It was too big for David. And he said, no, I can't do it in this. And he took what God told him to take: 5 smooth stones and a slingshot. And he went forth and slayed a giant. Some of you can't slay your giants because you're trying to slay it in armor that belongs to someone else, because it worked when they slayed their giant. No. God is trying to create a personalized program specifically for you. It's going to require you to trust him and listen to him. Everything that God is doing in our lives has purpose. We may not understand all of the purpose, but I'll tell you this, that God will bring it around and it'll all begin to make sense. And it'll make sense in a way that you're like, wow, okay, God, I see why now. Now I see why I had to go through that abusive marriage. Now I see why I had to be married 5 times. Now I see why I had to have 7 kids. Now I see why the abortion had to happen. Now I see why the miscarriage had to happen. Now I see why all of those things had to happen in my life. Now I see why I had to experience the stuff I experienced as a child. I see why I had to go through rape. Now I see why. Because there were some things that you were trying to do in me, that the culmination of all of those experiences would lead to producing the woman that I am now. Now I see why I had to get a PhD. Now I see why I had to go through heartbreak. Now I see why I had to move and live in the places that I lived, and why I had to be homeless, and why you moved me to Tampa and wouldn't let me go back until you said so. Absolutely, Danielle, to make you who he has called you to be. And that is not a mere reflection of anybody else. I don't know. We look at other people and we think, I want to be like them. The problem with that is you need to want to be like you. The you that God created you to be from the moment of conception. Not necessarily the you that you are right now, but the you he created you to be, the you he defined you as. When he blew his ruach breath on your daddy's seed and your mama's egg when they met. And that penetration of that egg occurred, God said, let there be life. And there was you. And in that breath that hit that sperm and that egg, at that moment of conception, God already knew who you were created to be. In the church, that's called predestination, right? God knows who you're called to be. And I know there are a lot of theological arguments that can be made as it relates to predestination. But I believe with everything in me, God already created the greatness. He already created us to be that person, right? He already knew who we would be, who we were created to be. Now, whether we become that person or not is where free will comes in, because he'll never make us do it, but he'll always maneuver things to help us get to that place. It's just like, as a woman, one of the things that I've learned when it comes to dealing with men is that it's not that men don't want to listen to women. It's not that. It's that they don't want to be told what to do. But the truth of the matter, it's not just men that don't want to be told what to do. I don't want to be told what to do. Don't be trying to tell me what to do. Don't do that. You can make suggestions. That's great. But don't tell me you better, you need to, you should. No, no, no. Wrong language. Wrong language to move me, right? I learned it with men. If there's something that you want a man to do, you don't say, well, you need to da 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 da. That's not. It's not going to get it. But if there's something that you want that man to do and you approach that man, the level of respect and humility and need, not like I need you to, but babe, is there any way you could, do this for me? Because I'm really struggling with doing it and I don't know exactly how to do it. It's not working for me. But I know that you'll be able to figure it out because that's who you are. That's what you do. You figure stuff out. Can you do this for me? It's a whole different experience. Oh, she believes in me. She knows that I know how to do stuff. She came to me and wanted me to do it. Okay, it's a different response. And I'm not saying this to teach you to manipulate people, but I'm saying it so that you can understand that you cannot just approach people any kind of way and expect them to move. It doesn't work. There's a level of respect that men need from women. And the truth of the matter is, and I can say it unapologetically, as Black women, we fail to give it. We fail to give that level of respect because we haven't respected Black men. And I get it. I understand. For many Black women, they've not had Black men in their lives that they felt like they could respect because they didn't handle their business or they weren't present consistently or whatever it is. But at some point, somebody has to be the one to say, okay, listen, if this keeps going like it's going, we'll never have healthy Black relationships. Black love will be a construct that exists in in thought, but not in reality. But it does exist. And that means that some people have made the decision to stop flowing with the stereotypes and do something different. My commitment, this is just my commitment. My commitment, I made this commitment. My commitment is to operate from a place of respect with men. And when I can't operate in that place, I have to disengage. I have to remove myself because what I will not do is I will not continue to be a part of the problem of the destruction of Black men and their understanding of the fact that they're kings. So even if there's something that I have to say that shows up as a form of correction for a man because of my position, I'm always going to do it in a way that is a respectful way and allows him to maintain his dignity. Because too many people strip away Black men's dignity, and I will not be a part of doing that. I'm not doing that. I won't participate any longer. Not that I've never participated, I have, but I refuse to participate now. Similarly, likewise, in the same manner, in the same fashion, Black men, we need you to love us. We need you to love us. We need you to love us. We need you to love us unconditionally. We need you to protect us. We need you to be there for us. We need you. Yeah, we can do it. We can do it on our own. But we need you. You're an important part of our life. You're an important part of our family structure. And your absence creates a great void that we can never fill. So let me go on record as saying a Black mother can never be a father. You can never be a father to a boy. You can be the best mother that you can be. You can tell him from a woman's perspective what a great man looks like. But there's some things you just cannot give him because you are not a man. See, I'm real clear that there are some things that I can give my boys that can help them grow into being some amazing men. But there's some things that they're only going to be able to get from another man. It's different. It's just different. Now, that may sound strange to some of you, and some Black women may be offended by that, but I contend that as Black women, we've created some of the monstrosities that are currently out here roaming around, parading as men, masquerading as men who are really boys. Okay? As Black women, we've created some of that, and we need to own it. So in 2021, it's time for our families to be redeemed. Listen, it's time for our families to be redeemed. Like, this is ridiculous. So a part of that redemption means mothers, if you have sons, stop it with this babying them. Stop it with this telling them they're going to break hearts. Stop it with all of this stuff that you're doing that produces the very men that you're mad at. Stop it. You want to see it stop? You stop it with yours. I will never celebrate my boys doing things to hurt and harm girls. I'm never celebrating that. I'm always going to advocate for them to be honest, to operate integrity. You ain't got to just be with one girl, but you need to let them know, I'm dating. Don't lie. Give them choices. Treat them with respect. And now that I'm in the single space, right? My boys are looking. They want to see who coming around my mama, because they know how they want their mama treated. Gives me the perfect opportunity to remind them, you remember that when you talking to these girls. I'm blessed because my boys really don't roll like that. That's a blessing, but it's also been intentional because I have intentionally sought to instill in them certain things. You ain't got to just be with one person, but be clear that you ain't just with one person. Just be clear, be honest. Let them not be able to say that they can get in their feelings and they can feel some type of way, but let them not be able to say, he lied to me. No. Be honest and give them a choice. So as mothers, we got to stop babying and protecting our boys and not allowing them to bump their heads and not allowing them to go through stuff that they need to go through. Because if they don't, see, and this is the crazy thing. This is why this whole concept of double standards just really destroys our families, our familial units, right? So on the one hand, and this is what this is good, God. So on the one hand, our boys, we baby them, we pamper them, we want to make everything okay for them. We tell our daughters, though, you go do this, go do that. You need to be able to do this. Don't depend on no man. Don't count on no man. Ain't no man gonna be there. You got to do it for yourself. Meanwhile, we're over here babying and coddling our boys. And we're producing men that are the very epitome of what we just told our daughter, doesn't exist because, that's what we're producing. No, it doesn't exist because we're producing men who don't take care of their children and their families and aren't present and you can't count on. We produce that in how we raise our boys, or should I say love our boys, because we don't really raise them. We just love them. We love them, love them, love them. We love them, love them, love them, but we don't raise them. And so because we haven't raised them, we contribute to the problems that our daughters face. Not only that, our sons and daughters are now, they have this built-in kind of thing against each other. Built in. Because of the socialization of our parenting. So we need to own some of this. Our daughters are mad because we won't let them do things that we let the boys do. So now they're angry at boys. They're angry, which translates into anger at men. Y'all, do you see what I'm saying? We're breeding the very thing that we say we don't want in our communities and our families. So our daughters are looking at their brothers with their noses turned up because they get to do everything and you can't do nothing. Or they don't have to do anything in the house, but you got to do everything. So there's a resentment that's built in. That shows up in how how they deal with black men who approach them, because now the anger and the resentment they feel at that double standard that existed within their household, and how mama treated them versus treated their brother. See, now they got mommy issues. You understand what I'm telling you? Y'all listen. We can change this. We can change this. But it means we have to intentionally stop the foolishness. In 2021, this year of redemption, after we've gone through 2020 and we've watched, we've assessed, we've evaluated, and we've adjusted. Now we stepped over into 21. Here we are. It's redemption time. But there can be no redemption if we don't go through this purification process. Y'all, come on. We got to flush all of that stuff out of our systems, out of our minds, out of our spirits, out of our emotions. We got to flush it out of our bodies. We got to flush the mindset that keeps us broken, stuck, and poor and sick. We got to flush it. So for me, and I'm just talking about for me, there's some things I need in 2021. There's some things that God promised me years ago that I refuse to miss. And so what? It didn't happen in 2020. Some foundational things did happen in 2020 for me. And so my whole thing with 2021 is I want everything that God has for me. And it means that I'm giving him everything that I am, everything that I desire. God knows the very desires of my heart. And I'm laying them on the altar. And I'm saying, God, if it be your will, this is my heart's desire. But if it's not your will, remove it. That altar work is serious. That altar work is serious. You know, in the church, they have altar workers, and these are the people who are assigned to work the altar. When people come down to the altar, they go to the people, they see what's going on with them, they may pray for them, they may take them to the pastor or whoever, you know. But the greatest altar work that you can do is not for other people. The greatest altar work that you do is for yourself. Get you right, get you together. And for me, 2021, Dr. V, Veronica, Ron, whoever you know me as, I am getting prepared for that next level. So it's up to you what you do. But I'm telling you, it's amazing. King Boy, listen, you're only on one of my platforms. So while there may not be anybody there, well, actually there is somebody there because you're there. There are people in other platforms. So if it's not for you, hop off. You know, God bless. May you have an absolutely amazing and epic 2021. Listen, God is so amazing and so incredible that he would love even the ratchet and the wretched. Listen, they're two sides of the same coin. So this year, make this year all about what God is doing in your life, for your purpose, and for your destiny. And know this, that no demon in hell, no imp can stop what it is that God is doing in your life. The only one who can stop it. Don't you be the cause of your own holdup. Let's get ready to board the rocket. I'm ready to take a trip into outer space. And if I've got to be on the rocket by myself, it's cool. Like, I'm mentally equipped to handle that. But if there be a handful that are able to take the trip with me, then let's go. Let's board the ship. Let's explore new territory. Let's watch what God does in this season. I love you guys to life and life more abundant. May 2021 be your best year yet. May God bless the work of your hands, because everything you touch shall prosper, In every place your feet tread, God will give you dominion. You are the head and not the tail, above only and not beneath, the lender and not the borrower. Your worst days are behind you, your best days are ahead of you. God's word for your life must manifest because his promises are yea and amen. Let it be so. And his word will not return to him void, but it shall accomplish everything that it is sent forth to accomplish. God bless.